Okay, so today's episode of Anonymous Voices is about toy boys. You know, when you're in your 20s, you're not really hearing the story about toy boys. So I thought, let me collect the juiciest stories from our listeners and put them in Anonymous Voices. So I hope you enjoy this. This is Sexonomic doing toy boys. Usually girls are always going out with older guys, and then I feel at a certain point in your life it just switches, and when you enter your 40s you start looking for younger guys. So yeah, that's certainly interesting. So just to read you off some stats, because you know I like to prime you with the information before we get into the stories. Number one, it's more common than people think. 1 in 4 relationships involve a woman being older in the UK/US data. Whilst age gaps that are 10-year plus are still in the minority, popularity is steadily growing. The root cause of this, apparently, is dating apps. Apps like Tinder, Bumble show rising matches where women are getting younger age ranges of men. Younger men are also more open to dating older women than previous generations. I mean, I get it. They're not going to be mithering you for a baby, and they're going to show you a good time with all the knowledge and wisdom they've built up over the years. Different pieces of pop culture have made the dynamic incredibly normal and also a little bit aspirational in places. Films like The Graduate featuring Dustin Hoffman started the trope, and now it's flipped into a more glamorized way of showing sex and romance, especially on shows like Sex and the City. So Samantha, and I think his name was, what was his name? Smith, the actor, the hot like beach surfer dude. Yum, yum, yum. And Sylvie in Emily in Paris. The narrative has generally shifted from taboo to more empowering. Women's financial independence has also helped shift the dynamic. Because women are earning more, they're less tied to traditional age expectations. This affords women to frame relationships in the perspective of lifestyle plus attraction more than survival. It's also been heavily implied on TikTok and other social media platforms where there's the popularized trend of hot younger boyfriend aesthetic. It's also noted that toy boy used to be a bit more of a critical term, but now is more playful. Why do toy boy relationships work? Well, the data has backed it with different patterns. Studies show often couples report higher sexual satisfaction, less pressure around timelines, so marriage and kids, and more equal emotional dynamics. This isn't me right now, but come to me in 30 years and I could be into a toy boy. I just want to stipulate all the names are changed in the stories. Listeners always ask for the names to be changed, so we just do it as a precursor. Your secrets are always safe with me, guys. So story number 1 is called The Professional Pivot. About a year ago, I met a cute Swedish guy and his name was Leo. He was 26 and we were going to the same gym. I bet you it's Third Space, categorically. No, I take that back. It's not Third Space. It's David Lloyd for sure. We were going to the same gym, and like the pornos, what started as a minimal casual chat ended up as a post-workout drink leading to a night of 2 earth-shattering orgasms. And yes, I did squirt for the first time. Initially, I just thought I was living out a bit of a cliche, but the energy shift was addictive and incredible. It's the first time in my life sex had been this thing that was always at the front of my mind. The way you picture horny men who are always with sex on the brain was suddenly me. It was interesting to contrast the two dynamics between men my own age and Leo. With men in my range, the first date always felt like a CV exchange or a talk about our exes or who got what in the divorce settlement. With Leo and his squeezable little ass cheeks, we talked about music, art, culture, travel, and often went on naughty little shagathons. He didn't care about my job title. He didn't care if I was even a good mother. I just enjoyed being silly, and especially with him. It was super duper fun and refreshing to meet a guy who just brought this side out of myself. But if you were to ask me if toy boy relationships can work long term, I'd have to admit they have an expiry date. And unfortunately, I found out the hard way. Slowly but surely, Leo would start making small remarks about us potentially being something more, just alluding here and there. I honestly didn't think I had to worry about this at the time when we got involved, because him being younger and me being older, I didn't think he would be looking for that type of commitment. I just thought he was young, dumb, and full of cum. To be fair to Leo, he was mature, but there is no way in hell that he would have melted into my phase of life into a serious relationship. And I also wouldn't want to rob that from him. Whilst it was my first time experiencing this passionate side that intimacy and sex could show, it was also my first time realizing the dichotomy of a casual fling or relationship. Anyway, fast forwarding the story, we led to an amicable split. However, at my quarterly gym social, I found out something that completely flipped our civil ending that we had, or situation, or whatever you want to call it. Another woman who I presume knew nothing about our situation had told me that she'd been dating this guy at the gym, how the sex was great, the hooking up was great, and she couldn't believe that she managed to bag herself such a young, hot guy. Alarm bells started ringing. Surely not. Surely it's not him. I asked her if I could check out his Instagram under false pretenses to check how hot he was, when in fact I did discover the person she'd been banging was him. Apparently he'd been giving her this whole spiel about how he loves mature women and that he would want to start a relationship with her. Whenever he's tried to text or come up to me at the gym on the one occasion we've seen each other, I've just refused. I guess my real question to myself at the end of the ordeal was I a fetish or was he not over me? I know I'm not interested in him and I don't want to see him again, but I can't help but feel like a used up flavour. I think he likes mature women. I think he's going through that David Lloyd's or Fitness First or wherever he is, and he is gunning down cougar by cougar by cougar by cougar or whatever is older than a cougar. He potentially has mummy issues. That could be a theory. This one is called Birthday Disaster or Birthday Luck. This story is written from a toy boy himself, and his relationship was with the older woman. This story might just incriminate me if anyone ever finds out my true identity. For obvious reasons, the names are changed, but the story remains very true and still is a bit shocking to this day, but also still a bit exciting if I relive it. My friend, let's call him Toby, was having his 21st birthday a few years ago, and as most occasions go, there is a group of friends or family commemorating the birthday boy. Toby has a mum who is hot and she's called Miranda. She was known for being a bit of a MILF, also a kind lady. She always made these little comments that I was such a catch and she couldn't believe that I was single. It's very cliche, but even once she felt my bicep and she asked me if I was going to the gym. I was so happy to say yes, I had been going to the gym. I thought she was just trying to embarrass me in a funny way, but I didn't seriously think that she fancied me. Because me and university friends were going down to Toby's house or family home, it was arranged that we would stay in the house's spare rooms. At the party, the energy was really great and the drinks were flowing and the people were chatting, but I still kept on getting this weird flirty energy coming my way from Miranda. I was playing into it a little bit, but not thinking about it too much. Even Toby clocked it, but again, I didn't think he thought too much of it. I thought it was all quite innocent, but little did I know it was not innocent at all. And I did something still till this day that Toby does not know about. When the party winded down and came to a close, everyone had gone to bed and it was just me and Miranda, and I was helping her clean up the kitchen and everything was going normal. She also specifically said, knowing that I was single, am I courting anyone yet? Courting, wow, what an old word. And I said in a joking way, oh, I'm only seeing a few people, you know, but no one like you. But then something proceeded to happen. She wrapped her arms around my neck and leaned in to whisper into my ear, if you ever want me to show you how it's done properly, just ask. She lingered around my lips and I was left so vulnerable. And then I went in for the kiss. I fucked her over the kitchen countertops. My friend's mum. Did I feel bad about it? No. She's fucking fit. We had a lot of fun and I've seen her since, but what has especially miffed me off is that when I was expecting this crazy sexual energy that we had to suddenly start up from seeing each other, she instead just kept talking to me like I was just a friend. I was 20, so all of this was fine. Frowned upon, but fine. She'd just give me this condescending look when I tried to engage with any kind of sexual vibe. But the only vibe I was really getting from her, Miranda, was as if she did me this massive favour by fucking me. Like I was just some guy she took pity on. I liked being a toy boy, but it didn't last long. I'm going to be real with you and I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. I think Miranda didn't think much about your performance. I think you loved it and I think Miranda took a chance. She wanted to see what it was about, and maybe you didn't deliver the way Miranda expected you to. There's other people outperforming you here, and you cannot compete to the high performance athlete level that Miranda is wanting off you. If she wanted to, she would have gone back for more. Number 3, the best till last. God, this one's actually really good because I've read through it before. This one is called Eat, Pray, Fuck Fest on the Beach. I was in Barcelona on my first true solo holiday. The first time in 25 years I wasn't packing for a family holiday or coordinating someone else's schedule. Any solo trips, I'd highly recommend anyone to take them. My kids were finally grown out of the nest and I was single and free for the first time at 59. The only person I had to answer to was myself. Knowing this, my friends had always teased for my 60th, I should always go on a Julia Roberts Eat, Pray, Love type adventure. So I took them at their word and I did so. The first few days were nice and relaxed, and then one night I took myself to this cute little local tapas spot. I fucking love tapas. Something that would have given me social anxiety years ago, but after divorcing I realised how much I can do on my own and how much I can enjoy it. If there's any advice from this story, it's that, to not be afraid of doing things on your own. So, at the tapas place, sangria in hand, book in hand, I enjoyed each delightful dish until the waiter brought me out a rima catalana. Is that like the little creme brulees? I think so. Spanish people speak up. And a bottle of red wine. I'd only been having singular glasses. The waiter said, courtesy of the chef, he thinks you're beautiful, alluding to the open hot plate area where the food is served. I glanced over and saw this dark, gorgeous Mediterranean man with hand tattoos preparing food. I asked the waiter what his name was, and he replied, Andreas. I said, when Andreas is free, he's welcome to join me for a glass of wine. I thought, why not? It's Barcelona. I can do what I want. Eventually, he came over to my table and said, I hope I've not made you feel uncomfortable. I said, I've never had someone my son's age send me a free dessert and a bottle of wine. He sat down and poured himself a glass of Merlot whilst I felt the wine making me warm inside. I remember this so vividly. He swirled the legs of the wine around in the glass as you do in a wine tasting, took a sip and then looked into my eyes and said, then you've been surrounded by idiots your whole life. I'm liking this. This is hot. This is so sexy. What a privilege to read this story. At almost 60 years old, I laughed like a stupid schoolgirl. He was just so incredibly handsome. His sleeves even more rolled up, revealing on his forearms even more tattoos. Jet black hair, stubble, tan skin that was drenched in the sun. He eventually said something along the lines of hoping it wasn't a suggestion but a reality. If I had time tomorrow and it's not too much of an imposition or inconvenience, he'd love to take me on the wider coast to experience the true essence of Barcelona, away from the touristy stuff, natives version of Barcelona. I thought, why the hell not? I'm in Barcelona. If he's a serial killer, it's a hell of a way to go out. The next afternoon, he picked me up in his dishevelled truck, which I'll admit, slight turn off. But this was Andreas, and that could easily be forgiven. We drove down the coast to various produce markets, lunch spots, and walked around talking about life. There was nothing overtly sexual in the conversation. He just asked me about who I was, my career, why I picked it, what I wanted to do more of in life. He spoke about his life and with such passion. I looked around and thought the trip that my friends had joked about me having this eat, pray, love relationship whilst I was on a holiday was coming true. Anyway, he'd planned for us to go to a local beach, but on the day, I wasn't feeling too great about that. Practically 60, old enough to be a grandma, I started having slight viscose veins and felt a bit insecure about it in a swimsuit. He picked up on that and he just looked at me and said, I didn't need to feel insecure. Life is about experiences, and as a man, he can't wait to see my body, but moreover, experience the beach with me. This man, honestly, we went to this little cove/beach where it was only us and a few other people swimming around. When he took off his shirt, I cannot tell you, God, that was a fucking sexy, hot man. The way men should be designed. He was manly, but not overtly muscular. Just the way I like my guides. We started swimming in and around the rocks because I told him how much I like to snorkel. Although we couldn't see the fishes, we ended up at this sandy part where we could sit and have a break. He then put his hand on my thigh and said, "May I kiss you? Would that be okay?" I felt like a teenager again. Kissing happened, things escalated, and it was the first time in my life I'd truly felt seen or made love to. Made love to? Like she was made love to, okay. Not just like I was having something taken from me. He rubbed his hands all over my wet body, removing my swimsuit in this mostly private area and on my own private areas. I went to give him oral sex because I wanted to, and he just pushed my shoulders back into the sand and told me, no, this is about me experiencing you. I want you to focus on receiving and I am going to give. Can you do that for me? I nodded with a smile and my heart pounding. And then he said the next line that melted me. Good girl. I was aghast. We spent a good few hours on that beach and I was the subject to all of the attention. I wanted to return the favour and he just didn't let me. He kept on saying, this is about you and only you. I want you to know that. His dirty talk in his thick Barcelona accent was nothing like the Birmingham man I'd spent 32 years married to. There was also this point where he softly growled into my ear whilst I was bent over a rock and said, I know you're the one in control in your world, but out here on this beach, you're my toy. You do exactly as I tell you to. Being stripped of my responsibilities and my sensible life and being worshipped by someone who saw the woman underneath the mother and the boss at work was the most addictive high I've ever experienced. So when she submitted this story, I asked her, how did it end? You know, what was the outcome? Like, are you still in touch with Andreas? And she did a little follow up. So we kept meeting over the next few days and had the best time. What we've entered is a bit of a casual relationship with no strings, which I thought I would have hated, but I really like because it fits in with my life. I've been going back a couple times a year and he's come to Birmingham a few times. I think Birmingham is a bit different from Barcelona, but anyway, as long as you two lovebirds are enjoying it. No strings, just pure lustful passion. Honestly, I wouldn't change it for the world. So that has been our edition of Anonymous Voices on Toy Boys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to say my favourite story is the last one. It has to be. Like, it's so sexy. Like, oh, like, I want to live that fantasy when I'm 59 turning 60. I think the common thread in all of these stories, at least the women who are the subject of the Toy Boys, is that they're discovering a part of themselves that they didn't think that they always had access to, or they weren't really aware of it. It's not something that they considered, but once they tried it, they were really into it. So it's interesting to see that aspect of experimentation filtering through into people's love lives. I think also a sense of just willingness to go with it, you know. We need more Andreases in the world. Next time, like, I go out or I'm interacting with a man, I'm not dealing with anything less than what Andreas has to offer. Anyway, I hope you like that and I hope you'll be tuning in next time. Let me know what subjects of Anonymous Voices you'd like to do, or even get in touch on one of our social medias to submit one of your stories. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast episode. Bye. Toodle-doo. Cockle-doodle-doo. To-do. No.